Good morning, dear students. In today's session, we will discuss about various objects that we find in our surroundings. So before I tell the name of the chapter, I request all of you to observe the surroundings. Imagine you are sitting in the classroom. What are the objects you find there? We find table, chair, desk, benches, blackboard, duster, chalk, bags, books, copies, pens, pencils, scales, erasers, teacher, students, doors, windows, and so on. And if you are standing outside your home, what are the objects you find? We find different types of plants, animals, human beings, birds, insects, soil, sand, stone, sky, sun, and so on. So, there are various objects present in our surroundings. Some are naturally made and some are made by man. Some objects have got different shapes, size, and color, and also some have got different properties. So, in order to understand them, we need to classify them into groups. So, the name of our chapter is chapter 4, that is sorting materials into groups. Sorting materials into groups. I think by now all might have understood what is object, isn't it? Yes. A thing that can be seen and touched is known as object. A thing that can be seen and touched is known as an object. And if someone asks you what is materials, so the matter of which an object is made is known as materials. Objects are known as cheez or vastu in Hindi, and materials are called as padarth in Hindi. Next we'll see classification of objects. When we go to the market and visit provision store, we see different objects are arranged in different shelves. For an example, soaps are arranged in one shelves. Different types of pastes are arranged in different shelves. Likewise, other objects are arranged in their respective shelves. This is done because it becomes easier for the shopkeeper to locate them. If it is mixed up and kept, shopkeeper will find difficult to take out the things and give to the customer. Therefore, now we can define classification as the sorting of materials or objects into groups, with each group having its own characteristic properties, is known as classification of objects. Let me repeat once again. The sorting of objects into groups, with each group having its own characteristic properties, is called classification of object. Why classification of objects is necessary, or we can say, what are the advantages of classification of objects? The advantages of classification of objects are the following. First one, the classification of objects into groups makes it easier to locate them and work with them. Second, the classification of objects into groups helps in understanding them. This is because if we know the properties of any one member of the group, then it becomes easier, or we can get the idea of properties of other member of this group. Next we'll see basis of classification of objects. The classification of various objects can be done on the basis of their similarities and dissimilarities, that is, living objects and non-living objects, plants and animals, nature of materials, use, shape, size, color, appearance, hardness and texture. So first one, let's see classification of objects as living and non-living. Living things require food, water and air for their survival, whereas non-living things do not require all this. Based on this difference, objects are classified into two main groups. First one is living objects and the second one non-living objects. Living objects are plants, animals, birds, insects and all aquatic animals. And non-living things are stones, mountains, walls, table, chairs and so on. Next we'll see classification of living objects. Plants can make their own food by the process of photosynthesis, whereas living organisms or animals cannot make their own food. They are dependent upon the others. So based on this difference, living objects are classified into two groups, plants and animals. For example, plants includes all types of plants, that is herbs, shrubs and trees. Animals include all types of animals. Next we'll see classification of non-living objects. The classification of non-living objects are based on the basis of their nature of material, use, shape, size, color, appearance, hardness and texture. For an example, objects made of wood. They are table, chair, bed, doors and so on. Objects made of metals. They are utensils, coins, magnets and so on. Objects made of glasses, beaker, test tubes, mirror, etc. And objects made of plastics like mug, bucket, polythene bags and so on. So for today we stop here. Rest we'll see in the next classes. Thank you.